welcome to Weather Geeks, and we are here today with Dan Sobian, who's the National Weather Service Employee Organization's president. But I want to make sure people also understand that you're a meteorologist down in the Ruskin office.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
yes, I am.
And we're going to talk about a host of issues today. But first, before we do that, tell us a little bit about the National Weather Service Employee Organization. Is that effectively the National Weather Service Employees Union?
It is. We represent other people than the National Weather Service,
Okay.
but by far the National Weather Service is the largest group that we represent. But it's the labor union that represents National Weather Service employees on a host of issues.
Right. And one of the issues I want to talk about is that recently the National Weather Service contracted to a consulting firm to kind of look at organizational structure, workforce issues. And this is important because we saw in 2015 in December cases where there was a tornadic event, and apparently some of the offices were understaffed, and there were some really challenging issues. And we want to get into some of that later. But first, tell us a little bit about that report from the consulting firm.
Well, the consulting firm basically came up with what might sound like contradictory results. One was that it was an extremely motivated and dedicated workforce, which you know, operational meteorologists, just like in the Weather Channel, with the National Weather Service, these guys dig through. We
breathe and live it. Yeah.
Right, dig through blizzards to get to work.
Yeah.
But it also found that morale was in the bottom quartile of all the organizations that this group, and it's a very large consulting company, surveyed. So the results didn't quite make sense to them, but it, of course, does to us. But
yeah, and I recently wrote about this in Forbes magazine in a column that I write after the blizzard of 2016 in late January, talking about the dedication, because I saw pictures of Weather Service employees packing lunches and having to be rescued by the National Guard to get from their offices in Sterling, Virginia. Can you give other examples of just, you mentioned them around, we'll get into that, but give some examples of just how dedicated National Weather Service staff are based on your knowledge as the president?
So the example you just gave of the National Guard trying to bring some people to work, the National Guard actually couldn't get them to work.
Yeah.
So one of the employees at the office got on an all-terrain vehicle and went out and got them and brought them in.
I saw that. Yeah.
We've had other examples where the forecasters literally dug a tunnel through the snow into the office to get into the office. We had one instance where a guy abandoned his car and swam through floodwaters to get to work one day. These people work 18 hours a day sometimes when the weather gets bad. They just do a tremendous job. The taxpayers of this country just don't realize what an asset they have.
It's one of the biggest values in the federal system. If people realize what the federal budget is for the National Weather Service, I think it's about $1 billion or so.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it pays for itself in so many ways. But I want to get to this issue of morale, because I know during sort of the government shutdowns and things like that, Weather Service employees are working on the promise of pay sometimes, and they're slogging the work, getting through slow. But you mentioned low morale. Why? I mean, they're getting nice pay salaries. Some would say they're federal employees. They've got a nice paycheck. It just comes with the territory because weather's a 24/7 event. Why the low morale?
Well, it is true. They have to deal with things that other government agencies do, government shutdowns and sequestering and the whole Washington bureaucratic scene. But the National Weather Service has some other issues going on too. The training has been cut back some. That's getting better, though, I have to admit. There have been various different things that have been cut from the office. The paper plates. People have to bring their own paper plates in now. They won't pay for them.
I don't think you get too much sympathy about that, though, Dan.
Well, except that if you're in a 24-hour-a-day facility with no real restaurants or anything nearby.
Okay, I can see what that is. Yeah.
But however, the big problem is the vacancies in the National Weather Service.
That's where I wanted to go, because I know there are vacancies, and that's a big issue because you've got senior meteorologists in charge out there launching weather balloons.
Yes, you do. And in the last 4 years, the number of vacancies in the National Weather Service has gone up more than 5 times.
Okay. Why?
By more than a factor of, well, that's the $64,000 question.
Okay, well, I don't have it for you, but tell us the answer.
Well, if I had that answer, the Weather Service is well funded. We're very lucky. We have bipartisan support in Congress, and we always have. They've always treated us very well. But for some reason, the National Weather Service is not submitting these vacancies to get filled, and they haven't been for almost 4.5 years or so. Some of them are getting filled, but it's a net decrease where the number of people in the National Weather Service has been going down every year. for that period of time.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to the National Weather Service Director, Louis Cellini. He's a good friend of the show. We have him on often. And so, I want to kind of put myself in the perspective of him. And so, you're saying that there are these surpluses. I'm seeing the numbers. But you're saying that these... is it a National Weather Service? Is it a congressional? You're saying we've got good bipartisan support. That just doesn't make sense to me why we're not staffing these offices and we're having situations where we've got offices short-staffed. So it's got to be more than that, Dan. Come on.
Well, so you're not the only person that doesn't make sense to.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. And I don't know where the problem is. If I knew where the problem was, I'd be telling you, I'd be trying to get it fixed.
But I know Louis, I know the Weather Service, I know they're adamant about public safety, and I know that they're not sort of, I want to kind of sort of play the devil's advocate here a little bit, and again, we'll hear from Louis as well. But what are some of the dangers of leaving some of these positions vacant in some of the offices, like we saw perhaps in Dallas, Fort Worth, back in 2015, December?
Well, like I was alluding to earlier, the people working for the National Weather Service are going to do everything they possibly can to get warnings out on time, to get the forecast as best they can. People should have confidence in those products. But where we do have a problem is that people are working tremendously long hours. Sometimes in one office, there was a unit in that office where they worked over a year without a day off. There's other offices where all the leave has been canceled. Including weddings, going to weddings and personal effects like that. Other offices where you only have one day off a week. So people are getting tired. People are their health is starting to suffer in some respects. You can't I'm not going to sit here and tell you, wow, we're going to miss a tornado warning someday and somebody's going to die. But this is no way to run a Navy either.
Sure, and we'll get into a little bit more of that after the break. But when we come back on Weather Geeks, we're going to look at some controversial proposals in terms of how we think the Weather Service should be organized. We'll talk about that next, but first, our Geek of the Week.
This week's Geek of the Week is Molly McCullum, Storm Team 12 meteorologist for KWIC Eyewitness News in Wichita, Kansas. Molly is fascinated by weather in the plains, including tornadoes and classic MCSs, that'd be mesoscale convective systems. When she doesn't have her eye on the radar, she enjoys running, hiking, and playing with her two dogs. Her favorite weather term, bombogenesis, is not only fun to say, but it's amazing to watch. Hear, hear. Congratulations to Molly McCullum, our Geek of the Week.
Amy was never late. We knew something was wrong.
Finding out about ATM withdrawals at different banks, you start thinking about the worst.
I can't believe what I'm seeing here. The cameras don't lie.
We just wanted to know what happened to Amy.
See no evil. All new season premieres Tuesday at 10. Only on Investigation Discovery.
Lowe's presents How to Find the Perfect Match.
Wow, they're so perfect together.
It's like they were made for each other.
They were. By the experts at HGTV?
Right.
Our best paint and primer in one starting at $23.98 at Lowe's.
Building the only trucks with the best fuel economy, best towing, best torque, and best payload takes guts. Overcoming any obstacle, that's the glory. Get a great deal on the trucks that give you both during Ram Truck Month. Get 0% financing for 60 months, plus up to $2,000 truck month bonus cash on 2016 Ram 1500 trucks.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah!
Currently in our area, 74 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy, high 75. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly cloudy, slight chance of a rain shower, low 65. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monday, cloudy skies will become partly cloudy for the afternoon. Slight chance of a rain shower. High 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah! From the moment they wake up, doers don't stop. Every day is a chance to do something great. And for the ones they love, they do anything. Sears Optical has glasses made for doing. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
Where can you satisfy your craving for a delicious 100% Alaskan cod meal? Right here at Long John Silver's. Enjoy our tasty 2-piece hand-battered Alaskan cod basket, hand-dipped in our classic batter, now for just $5.99. Because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
The City Double Cash Card comes in very handy with cash back twice. With 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. With 2 ways to earn on purchases, it makes a lot of other cards seem one-sided.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. Oh, and an award for best tasting hard cider. You're in our shot.
No, I'm not.
Strongbow.
Home Advisor is a very easy way to find a home contractor, and for me, it's the only way.
Home Advisor instantly connects you with top-rated pros for any type of home project.
If you need it, Home Advisor has it.
And it's completely free. Go to homeadvisor.com now.
And we're back with National Weather Service meteorologist Dan Sobian, and we're talking about various issues facing the workforce as a National Weather Service. And I want to get into some of the controversial proposals that we heard in the last year or so. But one quick thing, going back to the last topic, is it true that I was reading through some of the report data and results, are we at a situation where many Weather Service employees can retire soon? Are we getting enough of the young people because of this sort of dearth of openings?
That's an excellent point. Roughly 25, 30 years ago, the National Weather Service went through a modernization where they brought in a whole bunch of people like me who were young whippersnappers at the time who aren't young whippersnappers anymore. And we're all looking at that retirement door here in the next 5 to 10 years.
Sure.
So there's going to be a large exodus of employees.
Yeah.
In the very near future, that on top of the vacancies we already have of emergency essential employees. You know, these are people that are told they have to go to work if there's a hurricane or nuclear explosion, or they still have to, but yet they're not filling the positions.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and so typically those younger employees are the ones that eventually become the MICs, the Science Operation Officers, Warning Coordination Meteorologists. So yeah, right. you're setting up a gap there. But I want to pivot here because last year there was actually a bill proposed in the Senate to centralize the National Weather Service, essentially consolidate some of these 122 National Weather Service offices into sort of more regional collections or whatnot. It kind of died. I mean, it created a little buzz for a while, but it kind of went away. Do you think that's a good idea, or were you happy that died?
No, we opposed it. And my personal opinion is it would be a waste of money. I've been around a little longer than you, in my career, I have seen the weather forecast centralized more and more anyway, just because the models are getting better.
Yes.
And so therefore, to spend a whole lot of money creating 16 regional forecast offices is just a waste. And it would take away the assets that we currently have in the 122 facilities to do the things we really need to be putting our efforts into, which is mesoscale forecasting.
Well, I teach a mesoscale meteorology class at the University of Georgia, and one of the things that we talk about is there's local expertise in terms of knowledge of sort of mesoscale processes, what we call the meso-gamma scale, the meso-beta scale, these regional processes, and you need expertise. So would you agree that you need sort of expertise in those locations as opposed to sort of centralized, or is that overblown?
Oh no, I think one, I think it's extremely important, but two, I think that we have the assets out there in place right now that we should be doing the research and development of operational mesoscale forecasting, that we could really take the science to a new level in a very short period of time. if we utilize those 122 forecast offices correctly.
All right, let's pivot once again. You're sitting here at the Weather Channel. It's a private firm. There are other private firms out there, AccuWeather and various others, Weather Bill. It's a private industry. It's a part of the weather enterprise. And we are, as former president of AMS, we support and encourage that broad enterprise. But would you agree with the fact that privatization should play a bigger role than the National Weather Service? There are private organizations that are issuing their own warnings, naming storms. What do you say about all of this?
Well, I'm not in favor of private organizations issuing their own warnings. Well,
I've got about 30 seconds, by the way.
Okay, in some cases it might be okay. If they have a specific customer who wants specific information, and that involves issuing a warning, fine. But to the general public, I think there should be one basic source.
You don't support privatization of the National Weather Service function?
No, not. That's a very broad question to answer in 30 seconds.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about it after the break. So when we come back, we'll talk about the future of the Weather Service, and I'll get his answer to that question next on Weather Geeks.
Don't let a cracked windshield ruin your plans. Trust SafeLight. With SafeLight's exclusive On My Way text, you'll know exactly when we'll be there, giving you more time for what matters most.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Had a headache, but now I don't. Excedrin is fast.
In fact, for some, relief starts in just 15 minutes. Excedrin, now available in gel tabs.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
You know what makes me a weather geek is owning like 5 weather stations at my house, and then I named them. Who does that? Seriously. I did. I named my weather station Albedo. For you weather geeks, you'll understand what that is. And then I have Albedo Jr. Don't ask. Join the Weather Channel fan community at weloveweather.tv.
Hey, how's it going? Hotcakes? Hotcakes.
This place has hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
So why aren't they selling like hotcakes? With Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi Pro, they could be. Just add a customized message to your Wi-Fi Pro splash page, and you'll reach your customers where their eyes are already, on their devices. Order up. It's more than just Wi-Fi. It can help grow your business. You don't see that every day.
Introducing Wi-Fi Pro. Wi-Fi that helps grow your business. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Stroll through the woods and visit the working sculpture studio of famed artist Gert Olson at the annual open house in Jupiter Farms on Saturday and Sunday, February 27th and 28th from noon to 5. Gert's works have been shown all over the world, and now is your chance to see it in person. See these unique sculptures as well as the paintings, pottery, and fine jewelry by these fine artists. Olson Studio is located on 177th Place North in Jupiter Farms. We look forward to seeing you there.
When the going gets tough, a tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah! It wasn't me at all. It was my dad who recognized the fact that I loved weather, and I just couldn't stay out of it, frankly. So he said to me one day, son, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? I said, I don't know, Dad, electrician, fireman. He goes, why don't you go study the weather? You're like a freak when it snows. You got to wake up for the next 50 years of your life every morning to go to work. You might as well do what you love. So go study the weather. And that's what I did. And I still love a good snowstorm.
currently in our area, 74 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy, high 75. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, considerable cloudiness, slight chance of a rain shower, low 65. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. Slight chance of a rain shower, high 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And we're back with Dan Sobian, and I want to let him finish that question because there are some that argue that the private sector, people like maybe the Weather Channel or AccuWeather or some company that I don't know about right now, should be playing a role that some of the Weather Service functions are playing right now. Would you agree with that?
I agree with it to an extent.
Okay, whoa, that's a little bit surprising.
But I mean, I think that private companies have customers that want information that the Weather Service maybe can't give them. And in that sense, a private company should be allowed to go out there and sell whatever they want.
So you're talking about the value add that the private service, because again, the national weather, private companies right now, at least to my knowledge, aren't running the global forecast models or launching weather satellites, although there are discussions of that, or manning the National Weather Service Doppler dual polarization radar. So there's a federal function, but the value add is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. But you know, it's a partnership that we're in, and the National Weather Service. Remember, for every large weather channel, there's a whole lot of small weather companies out there too. That utilize the National Weather Service's data as kind of their source of information.
Sure.
And so you don't want to leave them behind also. But it's a partnership, and it has to be a partnership.
Yes.
And you know, I might not have given you the same answer 25 years ago, but really we've built something in this country that no other country has, and it works pretty well, and we don't want to upset the apple cart.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, we've got to all play in the same sandbox here. I mean, of course, I understand the competition in the private sector, but I think I'm seeing that, you know, the partners are starting to play together in the weather enterprise, and I think that's valuable. Let's talk a little bit about...
If I can add,
sure.
For the basic warning functions, I don't want to see that competition become a part of the warning functions.
You think that compromises safety in the country?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think if one TV channel is saying you have a tornado warning here and this one doesn't, and this one might say, well, it's not a tornado warning, it's a severe thunderstorm, that could cause confusion and could cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with you there, and I think there'll be some that might disagree with us on that, and that'll be a discussion that we have. I want to get to what do you see in the next 5 years, I mean, in terms of resources to the Weather Service, future allocations. As you mentioned, and we both know, there is good support for the National Weather Service, but how does this translate to some of the issues we've talked about today?
Well, I hope that I hope that the support continues, and certainly has been up until now. And the National Weather Service needs some new facilities and needs a little money infused for various things. But like I said before, what I really hope is that we better utilize those WFOs around the country.
And weather forecast offices.
The weather forecast offices and the river forecast centers too. We should be doing so much more with our hydrology forecasting.
Yeah, water's a big issue now with the National Water Center. Got about a minute ago. So continue.
No, and so I would hope that that there could be an extra focus on mesoscale meteorology and creating the science and information and getting those forecasts out to people, disseminated in many different ways.
Now, this last 30 seconds, I want to, as an educator, a professor teaching young minds, would you encourage a young student to come to the Weather Service, given what you know about the current environment and the future environment?
Well, I'll tell you, if they fill the positions, there's going to be 600 vacancies that I mean, there's a lot of jobs right there.
Sure.
And of course, like you had mentioned earlier, there's a whole bunch of us that are going to be retiring in 5 to 10 years. Meteorology, you know, it's an exciting career, and this is really an exciting time to be a meteorologist.
Yeah.
That we're going to be able to see and do things. And we have the computing power that we've never had before.
That's where we're going to have to wrap it up. And Dan's right. This is an exciting and a young science compared to some of the fields like physics and chemistry. Meteorology, we're still learning. Look what we're learning with dual polarization radar right now. That's what we're going to have to end it. Thank you for joining us on Weather Geeks. We are here every Sunday at noon on the Weather Channel, and you can also find us on Twitter at WXGeeksTWC, and we have a Facebook page. We'll see you right here next week on Weather Geeks.
Direct from our imagination. The all-new Civic from Honda.
You don't compromise, and you never settle. So why wear glasses with just any progressive lenses? See the difference with Verilux. The only progressive lens brand with lenses designed using wave technology for smooth transitions and sharp vision. Ask about Verilux and never compromise your vision.
Essilor, the makers of Crizal, Verilux, and Transitions lenses. Better sight, better life.
The kitchen, that's home. I know that's like my grandma cooked, my mom cooked. I cook. Chocolate bread pudding and souffles and banana bread. I make a lot of banana bread because the baby likes bananas. So we always have bananas in the house.
Whatever home means to you, we'll help you find it. Zillow.
All year long, you worked hard to take care of business and take care of the people who matter most.
It should be ready to ship next month. Sure, we'll have it Monday. Whatever works for you.
So when your tax refund arrives, make it go a little further at Walmart. From electronics to home decor, even tires.
All right, you should be good to go.
Great. Thank you.
Get low prices on everything you need to get more fun out of your tax refund. Walmart.
Okay, ladies, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you. I got this.
Oh, no, I'll get it.
Let me get it. I don't want you to pay for this.
It's not happening, honey.
Let her get it. She got her safe driving bonus check from Allstate last week, and it's her treat.
What about a tip?
Oh, here's one. Hit an Allstate agent.
Nice.
Switch today and get 2 safe driving bonus checks a year for driving safely, only from Allstate. Call 866-788-0900 now.
Here we go. Hold on, man. Is that a leak up there? That's a drip.
Oh,
okay. Now that's a leak.
That is a leak.
And if you don't have Allstate Renters Insurance, game over.
Protect your valuables from things like water damage for as low as $4 a month when you add renter's insurance to your Allstate auto policy. Call 866-788-0900 now. And if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 45%.
Just a few more ways Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Call a local Allstate agent today.
A good meteorologist friend gave me the nickname Dew Point Diva, which is my favorite weather piece of data. And I love dew points, and I try to spread the love about how useful they are, because that's the actual measure of moisture in the air. And if you start to look at the dew point every day and you realize when the dew point is in the 60s and 70s, it's sticky and humid. And when the dew point is in the 20s and teens, it's so dry you can't drink enough water and you can't put on enough chapstick. Then you realize how important that dew point is.
Currently in our area, 74 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy, high 75. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, considerable cloudiness, slight chance of a rain shower, low 65. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. Slight chance of a rain shower, high 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Ground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way! There's trouble coming down the mountain.
This storm's really beating us up.
And the roughest roads
This one's going to be a challenge.
are just ahead. All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah!
We have uncovered a remarkable planet, a world of extreme weather, alien landscapes, and bizarre phenomena. It's the most complex system we know of in the universe. That planet is Earth, and we are only beginning to unlock its secrets. They are the heartbeat of the ocean, but they have a secret.
It'd be like being hit by a car traveling at 25 miles per hour.
Some can rage out of control.
You've got water flowing into the subways. You've got water at the World Trade Center.
They're called tides. Generated by the celestial pull of a moon and sun. Aggravated by weather and land. And wielding the power to trigger some of the deadliest disasters on the planet. On Secrets of the Earth. Even from space, it's clear that one feature separates Earth from all the rest of the planets in this solar system. Over 70% of its surface is covered with water. Where the sea meets the land, the waters rise and fall in predictable patterns known as tides. But closer inspection reveals that sometimes these tides get out of control.
When a tide is coming in slowly at the seashore, it may seem kind of meek, but tides actually have tremendous power.
What makes the gentle heartbeat of the oceans rage in certain places on the planet? Here, in a 50-mile-long inlet off the eastern coast of Canada, tides are taken to their most extreme. This is the Bay of Fundy, home of the highest tides on the planet. A typical high tide is about 2 to 4 feet. But throughout the year, the tides in the Bay of Fundy can rise to over 50 feet, the height of a 5-story building.
115 billion tons of water comes into the Bay of Fundy, and 150 billion tons of water goes out of the Bay of Fundy. To put that in context, the force of the water moving in and out of the Bay of Fundy is equivalent to about 8,000 locomotives pulling that water in and out of the bay.
The sheer load of water moving in and out of the Bay of Fundy actually tilts the province of Nova Scotia back and forth by 1/16 of an inch during each tide cycle. If the energy of these tides could be harnessed, they could generate upwards of 10,000 megawatts of electricity, enough to power over 3 million homes a day. These powerhouse tides not only achieve awesome vertical heights, they also span almost 200 miles of coastline. So when the water retreats, it exposes hundreds of thousands of acres of the ocean floor.
We're at low tide at Alma Harbor. And if this were high tide, I'd be 6 feet underwater. And as the tide continues to go down, I'd be able to walk out for 1 to 2 miles.
But what is the secret that drives these mysterious waters in the Bay of Fundy? All tides on Earth, no matter how extreme, are powered by a force from space.
Tides are mostly caused by the gravitational influence of the moon, and to a lesser extent that of the sun. The moon pulls on the near side of the Earth more than it pulls on the center, causing the near side to bulge out toward the moon a little bit. It also pulls on the center more than on the far side, causing the far side to bulge out from the center. So there are two bulges on either side. This bulge consists of water that's bulging toward the moon and away from the moon, and to a lesser extent, toward the sun and away from the sun.
As the moon revolves around the Earth and the planet orbits the sun,